Kakadosh Boker Tov. We're continuing with doing the Pirkei Avot according to the halacha. It's brought down in Mishnah Tet. Shimon ben Shatach Omer. Shimon ben Shatach comes and he says, we have to come and we have to interrogate the witnesses. We have to be very careful with our words. Because maybe from our words they will learn how to lie. So the Rav Bar Tzinura comes on the Mishnah and says, Shelo yomar dayan shema kach v'kach hayam ma'aseh. The dayan should not come and say, you know what, maybe the case was like this, or maybe it was like this. So he says, or that the dayan is going to say, if it was like this, then this would be the exact psak. This would be the way that the ruling would have been. So says Rav Bar Tzinura that because of this, right, the baldin will learn, or the edim, the witnesses, or the one which is the defendant, he'll learn how to give over his reasonings, which means that from our words, he's learning how to lie. Because when he comes and he hears, what happens is A, B, and C, that's it. So therefore, it's very important that a person should be very, very careful in that. I remember when they were giving us shiurim on Chuppah v'Kiddushin, they were speaking about doing an entire network of all the Rabbanim together to do a certain cases. And there was a famous case of a couple that they went in one of the places in Europe, and they wanted to get married. So the person comes, and he tells this woman that she wasn't religious, so he starts coming, and he said it like a joke, as if to say that she had prior relationships. So he says, yeah, she had prior relationships with Goyim, with this. Now the person was a Kohen. So automatically the rabbi comes and he tells the woman, I apologize, I can't get you married. So she goes, why not? He says, because he's a Kohen and you were with a Goy. And the halacha is the second that you lived with a Goy, you cannot get married to a Kohen. So fine. After a month, this rabbi gets a phone call from another rabbi, but he was friendly with him, that he just met him before, in the next, we're talking about it was the next country over in Europe, but it was very close in proximity. And what happens is he comes and he says, yeah, I've got this case, but they tell me they're from your city, because that's what's written in all the paperwork, where they live, but I don't know why they're coming to me to get married. So he says, tell me the case exactly. So he starts telling it to him. So he says, but 1 second, I thought that I just told him no. He says, what are you talking about? When she came to me, right, and I went and I started trying to interrogate them, she went and she said, listen, she was never with a Goy. She was only with a Jew. Therefore what? She learned from the rabbi's words what to say to the next rabbi in order to come and to get exactly what she wanted. So therefore a person has to be very, very cautious in what exactly he's saying in order for them not to learn. And therefore it's actually brought down that if a chacham is going to be asked what's halacha and dinei mamonot, he's not supposed to answer. The Shuta Rivash brings down, Haoneh al riv umeshiv al davar beterem yishma kol ta'anot shtei akitot yachad ivelet lo uchlima. He says, if you're going to hear a case, a money matters case, and you only hear one side, and now you want to give your opinion, and you want to give a psak, he says it's an ivelet, it's a foolishness. Why? Because it's incorrect. You didn't hear the other side. And if you would have heard the other side, it would have changed everything. And that's also l'maaseh. The Bet Yosef brings down in the shoot of Kat Rochel, Siman Kuf Nuchet, Yesh li Paleh, we have to wonder, what was the minhag now that they come and they start answering Al Derech Ruven and Shimon Kilu that there's no betin? What? There's a betin. You come, you sit down, and that's how you're going to do it. Because if not, there's going to be even more machlokot. That's also the Sefer Shemesh U'Tzedakah. Choshe Mishpat Siman Chet, the exact same thing. He comes and he says, when they come and they accept, they don't give any psak or they don't say anything until both of the people are in front of them. The Ramah brings down in Siman Yud Zayin Sifei, Shum Chacham should not be giving over psak to one of the Baalei Adin b'derech if so, or he's going to come without giving the psak as long as he didn't hear both of them, because maybe they're going to come to learn to lie from these words. And the Ramah comes and he says, Shalach Chacham limanam lifsok b'derech zo. A person should not come and posek like this, only because of chashin leziluta shelo, ulfi ze gam be'over shacham lo mevayer et tamo. Even if he's not going to explain his reasoning, he should not do the same thing. Why? Because it's going to change. And the Pirkei Tshuva brings down over there in the name of the Shvut Yaakov, that in the Sefer Mishpatei Yaakov he says, שהוא משיב לחובתו של השואל יש להימנע בזמן הזה, שידנו תקיפה לחוף לדין בדיני ישראל, ואם ידע בעל הדין שיתחייב בדינו במשפטי ישראל, ישתמם להתדיין בפני דייני ישראל. What happens right now if somebody comes to me and I already know that the psak is against him. So now here, technically speaking, what do I care? I'm going to come and I'm going to tell him, listen, you're wrong. If you come to Bedin, you're going to lose. So what's the problem of telling it to him? Says the Pirkei Tshuva, you know what the biggest problem is? The second that he knows he's going to lose in a Bedin, he won't come to a Bedin. He'll go straight to secular courts because he already knows that if he's coming to a Bedin, he lost the case. So he'll make up every single excuse that he doesn't want to go to a Bedin, and then he'll go to secular courts. So even to go against the person and say that you're chayav, that you're guilty, that's also negative that you shouldn't do because of what we just mentioned, because if not, they're going to learn to go to secular courts. So here it's very, very important to realize that when you're going to come and ask a rabbi, this is a case, and what happens if theoretical questions do not exist in Dinei Mamonot? It has to be, this is the case A and B. And even with that, it has to be done in a bedin. It cannot be the rabbi will come and start giving his opinions or his theories or other things, because if not, for sure, there's going to be some making of a mistake, whether it is they're not going to come to Jewish courts, or they're going to learn what not to say and what to say. And Sheme mitocham yilmedu b'shaker, just like we learned to the Pirkei Avot, Mishnah Tet.